Us.
Can you hear us now?
There we are. Oh, we're here. Sorry, I was trying to make the live stream go over to Instagram, but District seems
Alas.
to be fighting me today.
Giving us the grief.
Yeah.
Giving the business.
That's all right.
The proper business.
Yeah, so we rude, right? Caleb's got to do some work, and he's making me do it with him.
Yep.
So
Yes.
we are doing
today.
We're pulling stuff out of the prop boxes to pot up, and then we're putting stuff back in the prop boxes, right? That's what we're doing?
Yes. We have some things that I cut the other day that have been sitting on a tray and need to be planted in the prop box. And we need to make some room for those in the prop box.
Morning.
Welcome everybody. Today we're doing some Hoya chores. And so you find us here in our grow space. About to start pulling some things out of this prop box here. As you can see, there are some vacant spaces. And there's also a few plants in here that look like they're struggling or not doing their best. Sometimes you just got to clear the space for something that is doing better. So let's go ahead and just get started here. I know that some of these I have just put in here, and I'm not going to really mess with those yet. This one here is one, for example, a species Idaho that I know I just put in there not too long ago. So this one has definitely been in there for a few minutes, and this is ready to come out. This is cotton candy, so another interesting cross. But as you can see,
turning.
No?
Turning that way.
There you go. As you can see, we've got some pretty good roots there and active growth here. So that one's ready to go. So I'll pull that one out and just replace the plug. Okay. This one, I'm going to go ahead and reject that. It's not ready yet. So I'll go ahead and put that back in. Even though that's from the same cutting and from the same plant, it's not quite as developed, and so it's not quite ready. Okay, here's another interesting one. This is what the hell is this? I don't even remember what this is. I have to check the mother plant because this I cut, and I think it's something. I have a couple of them here. Let me go check and see what it is. See, sometimes I wait and see if they're going to live before I get too crazy about marking them, because sometimes they just don't make it at all. So let me go and check with the mother plant on that one. Is it even here? No, it is here. Here it is. And this says Balinensis. Interesting. That's another variety of Balinensis, apparently.
We have more than one?
Yeah.
And you forgot?
Yeah, because we have this one here, which is the one that we've been selling clones from. This is our mother plant. Very pretty, but unique and interesting. And this one, oops, I just lost the leaf on it, of course. This one is a bit different. It has a more wavy margin on the leaf. So, interesting, different sources, different cultivars, but both very beautiful, very interesting Balinensis.
Miss Annie said, a Caleb in his natural environment. Notice how he prowls about.
I do.
I climbs into things.
Just dive right in, prowling about.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's another one that's kind of creeping along, but as you can see, very well rooted, ready to go. Now you'll notice that some of these collars are cut down. Okay, I do that because some of the Hoyas have smaller internodal spaces, and that makes it a little easier to get them seated in there. So what I'll do is I'll take them like this, take a wallpaper knife, and then just stand it on end like this and slice it like it's a pepperoni. Okay? Going all the way through. And this just gives you a thinner node space for your species that have smaller leaves and perhaps smaller node spaces, like this Minutiflora, for example. As you can see, it's got tiny little stem sticking out there, whereas if that was in a full-size collar, you would never get that stem exposed to the spray.
It's already rooting though. You just cut that a couple days ago.
Yeah, not very long ago. So there's a couple few of those in here. And those of you in the know saw Catherine's post with hers is flowering. Ours is also flowering. So it's really kind of cool how they do that. Not that it's the same cultivar that it's flowering at the same time, but it's often a species will flower in everybody's collection at the same time. So it's kind of like cool to be part of the club, you know? So definitely a very cool one. And actually it's a ready rooter. It's not having a lot of problems at all. It's rooting very quickly. And once they get rooted, they acclimate well and start growing really well too.
What else you pulling out there?
Let's see. This guy's ready, I believe. As you can see, we've got nice full leaves. These are thick and full, just as much as they were when they were rooted on the plant. And also, this has got some pretty wild active growth here. So I would say we're well rooted and established. That can come out. Okay. So even with just those roots, it's grown this whole vine and all those new leaves. So this is a pretty robust system of rooting in the sense that it'll actually support these plants pretty well. If you were here yesterday or on Friday, yeah, that was yesterday. You heard me talk about our amicabilis. It's a very close race between one of the cuttings over here and one of our rooted mother plants that's in a cup. They're neck and neck. Who's going to flower first? So it's kind of interesting how that happens. These prop boxes will actually support growth all the way up to flower in a lot of cases. And here's one that did not work out well.
Yeah, will you give up on that?
No particular reason. Yeah, I think I'm just going to let it go. Honestly, I don't see this coming back. The stem is not soft, but it's also not vital.
The leaf isn't too thin.
The leaf is it's quite thin for Verstigi, but what I'm looking at more is that the stem is off color, and that looks like an unhealthy stem to me. I have no growth whatsoever, and this has been in this prop box for 4 weeks now. So if it's not giving me any reaction in 4 weeks, sometimes they're just duds, and they just don't produce active regrowth when you cut them. And that's part of the situation is there's going to be some losses. Here's another one that's kind of a bummer, but it is what it is. This is Clemensorium, really nice leaf. Actually, the stem feels okay above, but where it's been
squishy,
exposed to the moisture, it's a bit squishy. And if you pull on this, like you can see that outer casing breaks off very easily. This is a dead stem. So neither of these is going to produce the kind of plant that I want to represent my company with. So these are going to go to the compost, and we'll go ahead and send a better plant than that. Okay, so I'm going through here and I'm looking to see what looks like it might be ready. This is a good candidate. Looking at a nice thick plump leaf here of this Nichols or this New Guinea Nova Ghost. Really gorgeous roots there. For a Carnosa, that's plenty. You don't need a lot more than that. This is another one of those no IDs. Again, a ready rooter. So really robust roots, and as you can see, little ID mark.
Yeah, make your list now. They're window shopping.
Okay, here is a Lacanosa variegated. The inner variegated, always popular. I don't have a huge plant, so I don't cut tons of these at a time, but I like to make sure they're nice and well rooted before potting them up. They do really well with that though. Okay, here's another one that I'm looking at, and it's a thorn in my side. I do have some very small roots here, but the problem with this is, see how it's broken? I screwed this up. This is the bottom of the stem, and it broke right there. I think, unfortunately, this might be one of those ones that I might have to give up on. Even though there is a tiny little stem there, it's just so awkward to get at, and I wouldn't try and root it upside down like this. It does, however, look like it's trying to grow. It's such a bummer.
Maybe let it go another week.
So here's what I'm going to do. At the break, I know that below that isn't doing anything for me. So I'm going to take that off, okay? What I will do is I'm going to use one of my modified collars, and I'm going to modify it even further. So I bend this in half like a taco, and then I take my scissors and I cut the corner off of it on both of those inside corners, okay? What that does is it creates a little chamfer so that makes for an even more narrow grabbing space to grab that stem. And so even with that tiny little bit of stem, I should be able to orient that in such a way that some of the stem will stick out through the bottom. It's not much, but it's better than it was before.
Now, is it possible, like, the outer edge here isn't getting, because it seems like a couple plants on that side are not doing well?
Well, it is pretty well covered. If you look, there's a manifold
Right underneath
nozzle right underneath it. So they do cover it pretty well.
So just coincidental.
It can be coincidental, and it can be, sometimes you'll have a longer stem that hangs down or roots that hang down in front and prevent spray from getting over. But if it's right there under a nozzle, it's generally not the problem. Here's another one, this Michele. It's been in there a good little while, so we've got some really nice robust roots. But as you can see, that growth was hiding behind the leaf. So I generally just maneuver that around to the front. That way your new growth is catching the light better. So we're going to go ahead and pull that guy out. And again, you just want to very carefully roll those nice beautiful roots right out of there, and that's going to root really nicely into the soil mix. Okay, what else do we have here? Here's another one of those ones that had the broken stem. But as you can see, this one is getting good exposure, and that was put in at the exact same time.
Light a little bit, I can't see it. There you go.
But the roots on there are developing nicely. I forget what this is. This is a kochang or something. But again, I'm going to move it over here so it's near its buddy. And since there's room there now. Okay, here's a Manao. Again, good robust roots ready to come out. These are small leaves, so these were near the bottom of the plant, but you can see that that's two of them, really nicely rooted.
Those say Joy on the bottom.
Oh, they're Joys. See, that's why I mark them. Not a Manao, a Joy. So, Joy is a good one. Actually, I think probably, I don't know, contender, maybe better than the Manao. All right, Fetchy Fusco, I know that one. See that beautiful leaf? Gorgeous margins. Again, really great roots on these, ready to come out. So we're making some headway here.
This whole box is going to get turned over.
Black Dragon, Pubicalix, always a great one. Nice big, look at those carrot roots on there. Big, robust, thick, chunky roots on the Pubicalix. This is a different kind of collar. These are actually made with silicone, and you can put two plants in it. They're okay. The one detriment to these is they don't sit in there very well, and if you go to lift this up to go inside here and maintain putting water in here or testing your chemicals, often they'll like flop out, and you have to make sure that they're in place so it doesn't overspray. So if you haven't seen already, this is what these guys look like inside. There's a pump that kicks on for 1 minute every 20 minutes. It sprays through these nozzles and evenly, oh, you're about to see it. See, if you're not careful, you will get wet. But that, as you can see, gives a pretty good dispersion of that nutrient mixture across all the roots that are there. So your stem sticking down in there, catch that, the roots develop, they do their thing, and next thing you know, you got really nice healthy growth going. So let's pull some more stuff out of here. Here's another one that's getting kind of crazy. Obviously, very well rooted. It's another one of those cotton candies. So again, just, you do lose a couple of roots on there. Some peel off, but in the grand scheme, there's still plenty of root there to work with. There's not any concern about that. So really just get them out of there best you can. try and preserve as much of that root as possible, but losing a couple little pieces isn't going to hurt anything when you have that much to work with. Okay, so again, this is going to provide a very robust start for these two beautiful plants. Try and pull them straight apart from each other, not to rip off as much root as you can. And again, that's going to fill a cup in no time. So that'll make some really nice plants, and that's a beauty too. The cotton candy is RHM, or yeah, real beautiful. Here's another one. Again, really great roots, not quite as large as the other, but this is definitely acceptable, and that will be on its way to making a really beautiful plant. It may not grow quite as fast until the roots fully develop, but that's definitely not going to inhibit it from having a happy life. Here's another joy. Larger leaf on this one. Now I recognize it. That one seemed small. So anyhow, that's why I label them. If there's any confusion, it helps me in the end to make sure I have the right label on my plants. So Joy, another very nice dark margin, beautiful sun stressor, easy grower, and just one of those really great ones to have in the collection. Okay, here is one of those Daikia chicken farms. The only way I can grow a Daikia is if you mix it with chicken farm. Let's see how this guy's got a really nice grip on this foam. I usually just try and clear up the side where the crack is, and then if you can peel that apart and sort of roll the stem back, just cut down on your losses as much as possible. Obviously that one was not the greatest release, so we did lose a few roots on that one. The problem is when it roots through the foam, sometimes that happens, and with this black foam I found that happens more often. The newer model, that white foam that I showed you cutting earlier, it does that a lot less. And so you can see how this has been rooted into quite a few times. This black is quite porous, and it actually holds a lot of moisture. So the roots will actually go right inside there. Again, it becomes more difficult, but still that's enough of a root to work with. Okay, so sometimes it's not the cleanest release. It is what it is, but the main thing is just if you don't have enough roots, then stick it back in there and let it re-root some more, and it's not going to hurt anything. It's just a little extra time. Again, another one of those beautiful joys. That one's got a real nice release, not too much lost. Clean out the rest of those.
I'm going to pause it for 1 second and see if I can get Instagram to connect. Alright, I think it's working.
We're back.
Trying. Let me get it back on the stand here for you. All right, I think we got it.
All right, we back, guys? Check this cutie out. This is a little silver lady. And I noticed that it has a little peduncle on it.
Aww,
adorable.
That's cute. Have we flowered that one before?
We have not. Yeah. The peduncles that we've had have always been on cuttings.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have another Nova Ghost. No new growth on it, but plenty of good roots. So we'll put that on the pile. These ones aren't quite ready yet. That's a dead stem. Okay, I think we're near the end of what's ready here.
In that box. Move to the next box.
Yeah, I think we could do that. Lots of good stuff over here. Okay, so what have we here? Okay, here's a Griffithy Dark. Very small roots. We're going to stick that back in for a little more hang time. Okay, Marilli. That one's got some good roots. We'll take that out. That's looking pretty good. Put that over there.
Tray?
Yeah, thanks.
Want another tray or?
We can just keep loading it on here. I think there's still a little bit of room there.
Thanks for joining us, Francine.
Welcome.
We're just doing some chores. Caleb's
Trying to
going through the
find-
prop boxes, pulling out what's ready, and then we're going to be putting new stuff in.
Yeah,
That's a pretty ganong there. Is that ganong?
yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's the one that grew on the fence.
Oh.
And I cut it back in a lot of pieces, and some of them are doing quite well. Others, not that much.
One guy looks rooted a little bit.
Ooh, can we fit through the hole? Why, yes we can. It's Latifolia Sarawak. Look at that big old gob of roots.
Good morning. Yes, we finally have sound back. We had to refresh the stream for some reason.
Okay. What else have we here? This is a Manao.
Well,
but
thank
it's
you
not
for
quite
joining us
ready.
on Sundays. We love having everyone over there.
Yeah, we enjoy it. A really good time on Sunday mornings. Today we're doing a little bit of a different thing, but join us on Sunday morning for our usual mayhem. This is not going well here. We lost a few on that one.
Which one's that?
This is a PNG SV435?
2?
432, yeah.
Yeah,
We lost a
yeah, the
couple
roots on that Sarawak were ginormous.
Right?
The Latifolias seem to root really well in here.
Yeah. Yeah, those Latifolias really do. They enjoy it. So they get a really nice, robust set of roots quickly. That's what's nice about them. Okay, so you just heard the pumps kick on. So we'll have to pause for a minute or else we're about to get wet. But there's lots of good stuff here to choose from. I don't know if this guy's got any roots yet or not, but it has put out some new growth. This is Amicabilis. It's not the one that's flowering. But yeah, no, look, that's good roots. I'll take that.
Nice.
Not too bad. Put that on the pile. Here's a one that is really good.
I'm glad we could give you some motivation.
This one is beautiful and a really nice grower. This is the AH041.
Oh, that is pretty.
Isn't that gorgeous? Good grower. Beautiful splashy leaves. They get that rich color and great splash. They really got a really nice shape and texture to them. And they also sun stress really nicely too. Here's another one. And as you can tell, they root really well. Really beautiful. Our mother plant, I'll show you in a second here, is just absolutely, oh, let me put this plug back in, just in case we kick back on. But I have actually more than one of those.
That's
mother plants,
surprising.
The AH041s.
You have more than one mother plant you've hoarded away?
Yes.
Is this Loy Province over here?
Yes.
That's pretty. Not growing yet?
As you can see, oh no, it's 4.9. I'm sorry, not 4.1. It's 4.9.
Oh, that is freaking gorgeous.
And this is why I've hoarded them. Look how gorgeous those leaves are. Big, beautiful, similar to the elephant in that way. They kind of look like a giant taco, but massive, splashy, very beautiful. So, definitely hoard worthy there. The H049.
Yeah, it's always a risk to ship to California. We understand that, so.
Okay, here's another Natalie. Nice, beautiful dark margins on these. Great roots. If you're concerned about the California shipping, we can pack in moss if you need it.
Yeah, we are legally
upon
allowed to send them
arrangement.
in moss over there. So.
But you know, something like this wrapped with moss, it will travel very fine, very well, and you could then transplant it when you get it in your location.
It seems silly. We can send you a bag of our soil. We can send you a plant without soil on it. We can't send the two things together.
Yeah, unfortunately, regulations are as such. It is what it is, and there's not a lot you can do to get around it, unfortunately. But you can send it. It's just not.
Yeah, we've been lucky. I mean, there are some people who have still opted to have us ship them plants, even with the regulations. In Michigan, we are not required to be a licensed nursery since we don't grow plants that can overwinter outside. So for being a home-based business, we haven't found it's necessary to pursue that kind of licensure. But we've only had one box ever pulled from Canada or from California, and the USDA agent was super nice. She's like, "This is one of the cleanest plants I've ever seen. I'm just going to send it back to you, pack it in moss, and send it right back." And we did, and it worked out. But yeah. I understand that doesn't happen for everybody, so that's cute. Was it about to flower?
No idea. Flowering in the box.
Wow. Can you put it closer so they can see that? Cool.
Isn't that adorable? Yeah, so it is what it is, and you know, I understand the reasons why. It's just that, you know, it's not impossible to work around.
Yeah.
It just.
And we'll always tell you too if there's a species that we think might be more fragile and wouldn't necessarily survive that kind of thing. Oh, that's a pretty leaf right there.
For Bessie.
Ridiculous.
UT0112.
Closer. Jeez.
Isn't that gorgeous? Really nice, robust roots on there.
Everybody remember that we saw that, because I have a feeling that's one that Caleb would hoard if we didn't.
Yeah.
It was on camera, so we can all document it.
Screenshot. Where's this? Oh, you busted me. I was trying to hoard it deeply, and it found me out. Okay. Here's another beautiful elliptica. Again, really nice roots. Very fine on these guys, not real thick roots. So, again, another reason why you want to be pretty regimented about.
That's not when we let sit out. Like most of these plants we're pulling out of the box could sit on this tray for hours or even a day or so without having to pot them up right away, but elliptica is not one of them.
Keiki, another really cool one. Great roots on that. Here's another Natalie. See, I often have multiples in the box at a time because they came they were cut at the same time. But often if you put them in the collar, 2 will go and 1 will not. So we have 2 plants there. That other one didn't quite make the cut. Okay, here's another one where we have 1 succeeding and 1 not succeeding. Leonensis. Or no, this is Mohi.
No, that's pretty.
See, that one didn't quite get it. As you can see, no roots developed, the stem slipping. This is done. This is not
That was the
viable.
For Bessie. For Bessie.
UT0112.
0112.
Yeah.
The one with the big silver here, up here, in that one.
Yeah. That's a beaut, isn't it? Definitely a gorgeous one. Okay, what else have we here? Here's another one of those. That leaf grew in the prop box, so I bet you that's got some pretty good roots on it too. Not too bad, not too shabby. So as you can see...
No, not that one. Was it the AH029? That was a big leaf we showed the mother plant of. This was the mother plant.
Oh yeah, 4.9.
4.9 or 2.9? Did you say?
4.9.
Oh, 4.9. Sorry.
Yeah, that's a really good one too. It's one of my
Big
faves.
tree.
Here is a dapple gray. Again, you can see those carnosas love to grow those carrots. Big chunky roots.
Yeah. That one again was the AH049.
Okay.
Yeah. I did a thing this morning and I fell for more naps. I think I bought 2 more nap varieties this morning. We kept saying we would not get stuck down the nap rabbit hole, but I did. That's pretty.
You guys might have noticed the other day when we were in the middle of one of these tours, we chopped our silver dollar. This was what, 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. Look at the roots on this thing already. So that's why I'm not too hesitant to cut these guys, is they're really ready rooters. And even losing a couple, that's still a very robustly rooted plant. And that will extrapolate out into as many cuttings as you've made for that. They grow very easily. They root. Oh, not that one. Look at that one. Looks very poor. So what we're gonna do? You grab me those scissors. And is there one more of those shorter plugs in the tray up there? Right here. Okay. So I'm gonna just trim that and restart it in a shorter plug. There is a little bit of root there, so I'm going to work with what I got and just go ahead and resituate that and plop it back down in the same hole. No big deal. Try again. Keep on trying, buddy. You'll get it. Peninsularis, another really great root set. Really beautiful. This one's nice and clean. Have we here? Beautiful viola. Great roots again. This is just a great performer. That's why we love it so much. And again, it doesn't stop with the rooting. They're just really easy growers. Easy to love. Oh, hurry up and get that back in because the pumps just kicked on. Very beautiful, easy growing viola. Okay, I can't see if anybody's asking any questions here, so let me flip around here for a second. Oh, you're relaxing watching, I hope. Today we are going to be potting these up, yes. We have... Yeah, we have a nice pile going here. So we're going to get Nicole set up with a nice couple trays and some cups, and we're going to have her do some potting of these beauties, and hopefully we'll be able to get them all potted up today. If not, like I said, they will. Most of these are going to keep, and they would last overnight if I needed to pot them up tomorrow, and they would be fine. But optimally, I like to get them into soil that's been pre-moistened, and then that helps them to get a good quick start. It just promotes fast and easy transition. If you have too much moisture in the soil, then that can cause a problem. If there's not enough moisture in the soil, then it can become hydrophobic, and you can end up having an issue of the water just runs through the pot and doesn't actually stay in the soil at all. It doesn't absorb very well.
Okay, sorry, I'm back. I had to go use the bathroom and get my coffee. Good morning, Laura. Yes, we are doing some potting chores. Caleb's going through the prop boxes here. We're trying to figure out what's ready to pull out, and then he cut some things, and we are going to put those in the box, and then we have quite the pile you can see above his head there of things we're going to have to pot today.
Yes, definitely going to be a busy day.
We're on the second of the 2 propagation boxes, aeroponic propagators. One more box to go after this.
The big one, Erythrostemma.
Yeah.
Really nice roots on that.
Out of the camera there.
That was a beast.
Good morning, plant 1x2.
Here's some more cotton candies. Again, very robustly rooted. It's a pretty good sized plant.
Oh, that was a little splashier than the other one.
Yeah, this is about the limit of what I would put in there plant size wise. This did grow this new vine, but as far as this rosette here, that's a pretty good sized plant. And generally, if you have that much plant, it can cause a lot of stress for rerooting. So sometimes that's more of a plant than you want to root. However, this one did quite well, and it's a pretty ready rooter, so I wasn't as concerned. But in general, as a general rule, when you try and root a large specimen like that, it doesn't always take well. So sometimes you want to downsize it a little bit. Here's another one that didn't go very well. As you can see, that whole stem is all discolored and funky like that. Not looking good for you, bud.
It's a 3-leaf cutting too.
Yeah. So I'm going to trim off all that bad stem. And then, is that utility knife in there?
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll be able to get another shallow grip on this guy and make that work. But if not, it is what it is, and that's part of the game. You win some, you lose some. This just might be one of those losses for us, unfortunately.
Which one was that?
Cotton candy. It's a beautiful plant, and the leaves actually still look pretty good. But unfortunately, there's just not a lot of stem to work with here. So here's what I'm going to do. In order to streamline this process, I am going to remove this leaf here. Okay? And what that does is it provides, those petioles will provide a little buffer so that I can get some of that stem down below and hopefully get just a little bit of this to start growing some root.
And then it's not trying to support all 3 leaves.
Right.
Too.
So that may help. We'll see. Last ditch effort on that guy. If not, it is what it is. We'll take it as a loss and we'll move on. This one, same thing. Not great looking stem down there, but there's some roots above, and I'll just go ahead and trim off the bad part. And as you can see, it's pretty clear there. That gives me a little bit of extra stem to work with. And now, I just want to make sure that's getting some good light.
How often do you check on all these guys? Every couple days, or?
It depends. I mean, if I look over and I see a lot of yellow leaves, then I have a reason to rush over and check on them like it's an emergency.
Not yet.
That could go. Well, he's a pretty good one for, it doesn't need a ton of roots to be supported. So that's not a terrible one.
Is this new growth on there too?
Yeah.
New vine?
Yeah, this is a fast grower, so those little roots will occupy a cup in no time. But if you only have a couple, you want to try and be as careful as you can. Peeling them out, you open that up as best you can to try and preserve what little bit of root you have. Sometimes in those little cuts, a little extra root will be hanging out in there. So that just gives you a little bit better start. The more root, the better. Even if you break the end off of a root, it still has potential to continue growing the length of it if you don't strip it off completely off the stem. These ones I just put in here the other day, and I'm questioning if they're going to work. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. This is that subquintuple nervia. Yeah, that could go.
But
yeah, that looks good. You can see it's got a slight dimple, or like that's a tiny little growth point there.
okay.
Fine, and before you know it, that'll have growth, leaves, and everything. So it's on its way.
Oh, it's really stuck. I'm afraid to pull it.
Yeah, it can be a little bit intimidating. Like I said, these black ones, the plants tend to root into them a lot more. So I tend to go on one side and just sort of like peeling off the roots as best I can, trying to preserve the part that's still on the plant. Peel the stem out of the center and then roll it across the bottom to peel them off. I don't know if that's coming across in camera at all.
I get it.
But you're trying very gently to peel those off as delicately as possible and preserve as much root as you can. What else do we got here? Here's a nice little Peninsularis. with some new growth. You can see that cute little new leaf and a new vine here. Also an accompanying dead stem. So this one's ready and good to go. Be very careful with that baby leaf in there so it doesn't get knocked off. Okay. Now we have a verticillata silver. Another little bit of trim on the bottom of that stem. And that one's ready to go. Okay. Another bunch of Natalie's here. Looking like they're doing well, pushing some new growth.
Another tray up there, hon?
There is some down there on the floor. You can see that new growth there is beautiful. Really nice splash, really great margins. Super beautiful. Okay. So as you can see, we have a pretty robust tray here full of beauties ready to be transplanted into their new homes. And I have previously gone through and made some cuttings of a few things that we have here. Okay, so I want to show you guys how we'll be potting these up. It's basically the same thing in reverse, but yeah, we're going to show you. So here is a Kalimantan. Very beautiful, gorgeous, nice rounded shape to the leaf. This was a donation from our lovely friend Catherine. She sent us a beautiful cutting, and we were able to root it. And now it's doing great things. So we'll go ahead and stick those down in there. Basically using that same principle of we don't want too big of a plant. That's about as big as I'm going to go with this. Now I know this is a pretty easy rooting species, so I'm not too worried. Also, a kind of a bonus of this system is when the pumps are running, unloading it can be difficult, but loading it can be quite easy. All you got to do is just pop those down in there. If you have opportunistic root nodes, you don't really want to dust them by pushing them through the collars like that. So like, take it on advisement that you don't always want to just push them in there like that. But here's another real cool one. This is a Clemensorium. It's the dark veins. So it's got a good stem on it. I'm not too worried about that one. So I'm going to go ahead and just use a black collar, keeping it approximately a ½ inch above. Keep in mind that any place that's in contact with that collar, it's going to grow roots. Okay, so if you want it to grow roots right up to the petiole and you want to bury that in your cup in the end, then that's something you might consider.
Oh.
I prefer to have it a little bit above where the soil line will be. Okay, so then that sticks in there. Occasionally I will take multiples and stick them in there. You just have to be careful how you orient them. Like I'll take a double like this and a single like this. And I'll put them side by side like this, knowing that this one potentially will grow a new leaf on this other side. So I want to keep that side clear. I don't want to have it jammed up against the other side there and prevent a place where the leaf is going to have difficulty growing in. Okay, so I'll hold those in my fingers like this and then just put the collar around it, holding it in place. You can somewhat turn these guys and get them positioned the way you want them, and then just plop it back down in the hole. Good to go. Chemistry in these, I tend to keep these at a pH of around 5. I find that if you go too much higher than that, it tends to be pretty basic and it doesn't root well. The plants have a really high success rate when it's they grow really good roots in acid, slightly acid based mixtures. So we tend to keep it around that range because it's effective for the root growth, but also it's not too much acid for the plants. So you kind of want to ride that line. You don't want to give them 4 all the time, but you also don't want to give them 7 or 8.
What can they do to make their soil more acidic?
Okay, we use a pH up or down, depending on what your soil is.
Your soil is going to stay pretty much the same, but the watering and treatments that you use can change your pH so that you have that gradual swing through it. So if we have need to push it down, we'll use the chemical Caleb's got in his hand.
Yeah, this is a pH down. It's available at any grow store or on Amazon, but it's basically just, it causes the pH to drop. It's acid.
Yeah.
So
but we will also use the molasses.
When we're watering fertilized or organic plants that are in soil, the molasses will bring the pH down to about 4, but it swings. It's a different type of pH swing. In the soil, there are components that react with the water, and it changes the way that the plants uptake those nutrients.
We don't think you have to test your water every time, but I think it is important to know that certain nutrients are taken up at certain pHs, and you really want your plants to get the whole swing from about 4.5 up to about 7. As they take up the water over a couple of days, the pot will shift in pH a little bit, and having a little bit more acidic watering will help them get lower so that they can climb back up. So if you've tested your water and you know you're at 6.5, I would test it when you're fertilizing and see where you're at with whatever you're using for fertilizing. We use a low dose of fertilizer with every single watering because we have really good light and we can do that. So we can keep ours roughly, our measurements the same every time and know that we're getting there. Does that make sense? Sunshine says you can remember every one of these plants without labeling. Majority of the time. Sometimes he has to go back.
Sometimes they're labeled.
Sometimes he just tattoos them.
Yeah. Yeah, this is an AHO 779.
Rebecca, if you go to the chats here, under the Hoya handbook, there is a water chemistry handout from our talk on water chemistry that you might find useful too.
Yeah, most of these I recognize, but again, there are some that I will label. Mostly they're the ones that look like other ones. If I have a difficult time telling them apart, then it's definitely something I'm not going to just throw it in the box and forget about it, because it's easy to lose track if you don't.
I have a spreadsheet that is set up to mimic the numbers. There's numbers that go across and letters that go up.
16. And
so when he has a tricky one, we'll put it on the spreadsheet so I know which site it's in.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's one of those type of easy ways to keep track if you're into documenting what you've done. Oftentimes I'm in here in the throes of it. I don't keep very good records when it comes to what's going in the prop box, so that's why
go around there and I'll come where you are.
I will tattoo. Yeah, we could do that.
Are you going that way?
There's not a lot left in here to come out.
No, but you were going to show us the amicabilis. I was going to show the
amicabilis.
Yeah. You going that way?
Yeah. I have this one here.
This one you already pulled from. So you can see all these open spaces mean a lot more cutting's about to happen.
Here's that amicabilis that I was talking about. This is the one that we have potted up. This is the mother plant. Okay, so it's blooming a little blooms. But over here in the prop box, there's another one that's right alongside it and has a very
closer,
almost equal bloom maturity. So isn't that cool? So we'll see how that goes. I had mixed results with those guys in the prop box, and so some did well, some did not that well. So it's just one of those circumstances that you have to keep evaluating what you're doing and decide whether or not it's the right thing. Amicabilis has been kind of a tricky one. It's not the easiest of plants. It's a relatively thin leaf, and so there's a little bit of a learning curve there, but it's a very beautiful plant, and once you get the hang of it, it can be quite rewarding. Here's one that I just put in the other day. This is that Chores silver. Look at that, rooting really nicely. That's a good one. We could probably pull that. Yeah, that's a nice one. Rooting well, and as you can see, these ones, you lose very few roots with these. They're much denser foam, and so the upgrade is appreciated on that. Chores is a little bit tricky. They're thinner leafed, but not thin leaf. So it's kind of like right on the line there. Here's another one. Really great. This has got some varied, some silver, some splashy. Isn't that beautiful?
Kind of pretty, yeah.
Now this other one is a bigger plant, and you'll see the reason why Oh, now actually making a liar out of me. I was going to say why I don't root the larger plants, but this has actually smaller roots than the others, even though it has a larger plant. I'll still pull it. It's still ready. But it's not quite as full in the leaf, so I'm hoping that that's going to take off and do well once it's potted up. But this is a beautiful one, and I always find that this thing very quickly with those large node spaces outgrows my vertical space before it reaches my point where I really want to cut it, because it's such a beautiful plant.
Yeah.
I wish I had more space for it to get taller.
Yeah, we could take that one to Mom's. The little taller shelves over there.
Yeah, we definitely should. What else?
Oh, that was the Coracea Silver.
Yeah, isn't that
Is your
gorgeous?
mom still over there, or did she cut up pretty good?
It's cut up pretty good, but it's still, I didn't cut it all the way back. I was a little nervous to cut it too far, but she's doing good, regrowing. It's given many cuts. You can see there's a lot of...
The backlighting on this is not helping. There we go. Pretty plant.
Yeah, it's a little bit thirsty right now. So you can see the leaves are quite thin, and they have a slight wrinkle to them when they're thirsty. But again, this will spring right back, and it's a beaut. I just love it. It's one I was worried about initially because I thought it was going to be a lot more delicate than it really is, but I love it.
Who else is going to get cut now that we have all this extra space?
Look at this.
Oh, wow.
This is a buntokensis that's about to bloom. Big, gorgeous blooms. These
Yeah, that
tend to
light
be
is just not
white.
good right here. Oh, they're pretty. Like the undulata bloom.
Yeah. Yeah, big and beautiful. I love those guys. They're so cool. What's going to be cut soon? Well,
About this Germany.
the Germany could use a little bit of a haircut, probably. Its close cousin, the Jennifer here, could also use a haircut. It's about to flower, though, again. It had just flowered. Up here, there is a love affair bloom that's about to open. I see one bloom that's like
Almost
got
there.
2 petals open. It's like right there. It's gonna bloom anytime. But what else do we have here that's blooming?
You've gotten distracted. We're supposed to be looking at what's being cut.
Oh, sorry. Cutting. What is being cut? I need to
that's
actually
pretty
do some small leaf stuff.
Yeah.
Memoria needs a haircut. Really beautiful, nice new growth on this guy. It's got some really big, beautiful, luscious leaves. Great splash. This is a sleeper. This is one you don't really think too much about, but really beautiful and easy growing. This is a Sigillatus dragonfly, also growing some really beautiful, nice leaves. The Wonderfall is in need of a haircut.
That'll have to go into the high humidity
Yeah.
prop box, so.
Wilbur Graves Silver also could use a bit of a haircut. Looking really nice.
You said more small leaf?
Yeah, the Parvifolia flora, the Peregrine Durian,
That needs to be cut.
Lacanosa Sami, Hushkliana outer variegated, Mr. Tent.
Yeah.
There's quite a few of them that need
Let's do a round of those, huh?
some
Probably the regular
revamping.
Hushkliana.
Yeah. Oh, here. Let me show you this guy that you didn't know we had.
That I didn't know we had, or they didn't?
This is our Suzy Q.
Oh, that is pretty. Yeah, we just got a one from Alexis. She sent it to us, and
Yeah.
I didn't realize we already had it, too. That's
It's
really
a cutie.
cute.
I mean, it's got some unique and interesting, sort of like a crinkleate sort of characteristics to the leaf, but it's definitely
Oh,
a much
melted.
slower grow.
Yeah. Hers melted.
Yeah.
Rebecca's too.
I've melted one before. Don't feel bad. It happens. What else do we have in here that needs
I
to be
keep
cut?
waiting for you to cut that microdwarf. I know you don't want to, though.
This is an adorable one.
He
This is
ignores me.
Lee Silver.
That's pretty.
I have some of those going down here. like a bunch of them.
Oh, wow, you do. Jeez.
So that's going to have to get a cut. And this is a mystery to me. Anybody recognize this little cutie? It has these somewhat triangular little leaves. They're quite succulent, raised veins. The mother plant is right down there. You see it down there behind that balanensis?
Here?
Yep. So the leaves look slightly different when we originally got them, but they're struggling.
That's tiny.
Outgrown this vine, but since then I've realized that I don't know what it is. It's adorable though, and it's got these little almost cleft or like butt-shaped leaves where they have a little cleft at the end. It is freaking adorable. I gotta figure out what that thing is because it's so cute.
Oh, do you remember when we got it or how long we've had it? I can try and figure it out.
No clue. We've had it a long time. I know that much.
Did it come from Catherine?
No, I don't think so. No, it didn't. It didn't come in that round of stuff that she sent us.
These are a bunch of the new Dischidias we got from Alexis in the mystery box the other day, too.
Yeah, I don't mind this struggling apecia here.
Yeah, it turns out I'm not good at apicias. Manuparensis is triangular. I think it's smaller than that.
Yeah, they're tiny little leaves, and even though they've grown a little here, they started out, look how tiny they were. So I think that's a response to the fertilizer that I give them, and that's why they've gotten larger like that, but they weren't initially that large, so I don't know what it is, and that's kind of like...
It's just more of that Lee Mars or something else.
Yeah, that's the Lee.
Or Lee.
Yeah, Lee Silver.
Yeah, it's a good idea, Vicki. We'll have to post it and see if anyone can help us figure out what it is.
This is a gifted Wollaniana. That's different from ours. I think this is a Septangensis, isn't it?
Is it the Athwaliana that Catherine sent us?
No. That one, I don't know what happened, but that one did not do well. It melted on me.
What's this here?
That is this thing here. Oh, Spectra.
Spectracema?
Yeah. It's very difficult to read, that one. But yeah, look at how the leaves started this long, and now look at them. They're like chubby and short.
Cute.
And it's like pubescent. That's a cool one. I really like that one a lot. And then there's Lee No ID in here. This is another Lee No ID. This is no, this is just regular Lee. And then this is
Yours is about to bloom. That's cool.
Remainder of that Ching Hung. And then this is that well, what you call it?
Chingensis?
Yeah.
No, that's
no,
the
Tekken.
Tekongensis.
Yes,
yeah.
The other one. We have some requests for that one. We need to get some cuts of that little cutie. They are also very adorable with these cute little leaves, but it's like it's entangled.
Yeah.
Is the word that I was
What's
searching for. That's a Dischidia.
No, it's one from...
Which one is that? That one's this one here, No ID.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah, there's a hirsuta in here. Dischidia hirsuta. So there's a lot of different cool stuff in here. Hopefully it does well and we can bring it to market.
Yeah, fun.
But those are definitely some of the to-be cut in the to-be cut department. Here's my little Billy sitting down here. This is another one that should probably be
like
cut.
How every once in a while you just randomly see one philodendron hiding away.
This is another one of those Bogor pallidas that has that really unique purple color. Really great splash, really great texture. the color on those is, this is a
They're
different
so dark, it's
cultivar,
hard to get the color to come across.
but they're so beautiful. Oh, yeah, it's like a plum
That
purple.
needs to be cut too.
Oh yeah, come in, Gianna, with an attitude.
Conventions. We just got this the other day. I don't think I showed it to you guys yet.
Oh yeah,
I'm
that's a
excited about
beaut.
that.
That's a really cool one.
Isn't that pretty? Oh, frozen. Hang on, let me get up. I'm on the floor. Okay. All right, less frozen. Less frozen. No, still frozen. Sometimes it just gives up on me. I don't understand why. All right. Well, my battery's about to die anyway. You're stuck on the Billy. Okay, hang on 1 second. Let's go out here for a second. Now you're moving.
We're back in it.
Can you see us? Okay. Had to just step outside for a second. Let me show you this real quick. Get back into the light here. This is a new one we just got from April and Derek. Australis elliptica cross. And it's super pretty. Very happy about it. Right, that's what it was, Australis and elliptica?
Yeah. Isn't that gorgeous?
Very nice. Can't wait to see how that grows.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're at about 8% battery here, so I think we'll sign off. We just wanted to jump on and say hi to everybody and show you what we're doing. And then if you need me, I'm going to be potting all these plants for the next hour, probably. Yeah, but we'll be back on tomorrow morning, normal time, normal place, and you'll get to see what else Caleb's got in store for you.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming to join us. We appreciate it. You guys hanging out with us.
Yeah, thanks for coming for our hangout.
Makes these more fun.
Talking about what we're about to do with all this pile of Hoyas.
All right. We'll see you soon, okay?
All right.
Bye, everybody.